All right, today is World Food Day, and the call for bolder action to make healthy and sustainable diets for all is getting louder.
The 2020 World Food Day comes amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which has put a lot of strain on fragile food chains and threatening to push millions across the world into hunger. Grow, nourish, sustain together, our actions, our future. That's the theme for this year's commemoration of World Food Day, aimed at calling for stronger agri-food systems and for global solidarity.
Joining us for this discussion is founder and CEO FoodClick Support, Bolajoku Fadipe. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Once again, happy World Food Day.
Happy World Food Day.
Yes, thank you.
An interesting day, I must say. But when you look at the theme for this year, grow, nourish, our actions and all of it, when you place this side by side, the recent pandemic and what it has exposed with regards to people not having access to quality food and having balanced diet. How far are we coming with every effort? You would recall that the government is talking about diversification agenda, how it is focusing on agriculture. How far have we come?
Well, let me say we've actually come a long way. We've put in our best globally, but I must confess to you there has been a decline in the progress we've made because of COVID-19 pandemic. Last year, there was progress, fewer people were going to bed hungry, World Food Program, we were all doing a lot. But since the outbreak of COVID-19, more people are hungry, the poor are now, those who were not poor before, they are now vulnerable. So more people, so when you look at it generally, this is a time to really raise awareness, call the attention of world people and everybody for us to really invest so much in agriculture, invest so much in the food supply chain. Farmers, they've also been affected by this COVID-19. A lot of them produced food items to be distributed, to be sold. But because of the pandemic, there was breakdown in the supply system. So when you look at all these things, there's no better time to raise awareness about it. Few weeks, I think last week, World Food Program won the Nobel Peace Prize. So that was also one way of raising awareness about the number of people going to bed hungry.
So if in raising awareness, apart from talking about the number of people going to bed hungry, what would be the focus and what can governments of the world do to end hunger in the land?
Well, there's no way we want to end hunger without peace. First of all, we must ensure peace in every region of the world, whereby when there's peace, that's when you can start thinking of some other solution. We must also invest in agriculture. We need to support farmers. Farmers are the heroes. During the pandemic, they are always there for us. So we must invest in agriculture. By investing in agriculture, we can grow this food. When we grow this food, we'll provide nourished food to everybody. By providing nourished food, we'll sustain, and together would end hunger and do more.
Let's look at our government's efforts. At some point, we had to shut our borders, and we were talking about we consuming what we grow in Nigeria. And then there are still concerns that point of self-sufficiency, we haven't gotten to that point. And so even if we are saying that we are going to be shutting our borders to imports, we haven't done much in terms of investment. And government also talked about the anchor borrower scheme. But what you hear is that most farmers who need these monies are not getting it.
Yes, that is the challenge. We need to, when the border was shut, one way to invest in agriculture to also improve the lives of farmers in Nigeria is by shutting the border. If we don't shut the border, there's no way people will want to patronize or people will want to encourage local farmers. But it has to be on a round table. Both the farmers and the government, we all need to sit down and see if the government policy is working. But to me, I feel that government, they are trying their best, but I feel government can also still do more.
All right. We'll leave the conversation here now, Bolajoku Fadipe. We'll talk more as we get along. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
At this time, we're celebrating World Food Day. Looking at Nigeria, a lot of people, or statistics has it that the inner part, the rural areas, suffer this lack of food supply and all of that. When we talk about agriculture, what more can be done to diversify or invest more? Because our borders have been closed, and we realize that despite the fact that our borders have been closed and we're producing food for our own sufficiency at some level, the food are quite expensive as well. So how do we ensure, how does the government ensure that this goes into the inner circles at minimal cost?
Yes, yeah, thank you very much. Yes. Also, one other thing is that we need to also talk about food waste. We grow a lot of food, but the problem is for getting this food to those who are in need, especially those in the rural area. It's funny that most of these people in the rural area, most of them, they rely on agriculture, but they are still the same people that don't get this food they produce. So government needs to support them. Government needs to ensure they can always reduce food waste from the farm to the table to the final consumer. A lot of all this food go into waste. They don't have enough storage facilities. They are bad transport system.
Network.
Yes, the road network. So when you want to transfer food from a particular region to maybe the city, it's difficult for them. And they also have this food. They also want to make money from this food they've grown. They can't also sell it. Also, we need to also have a lot of social protection scheme for especially the senior citizens, the children, and people in the rural area. During COVID-19, I had an opportunity of traveling to various parts of the country, delivering food boxes to people. So it also exposed me to the level of poverty and hunger. So when we talk about all these things, World Food Day, yes, it's a day of global action. It's also a day to bring attention to the millions of people who go to bed hungry, call on private sector, call on individual. We all have a part to play. We shouldn't leave it in the hands of the government only.
So how do we celebrate this day now in Nigeria? What are the plans that perhaps you have?
Yes, some of the plans we have in Foodlick is that would raise awareness, call global attention, just like being on air with you people is also part of advocacy. We need to raise advocacy. We'll also be feeding people in our community today, because while we're also feeding people is to also ensure that that fewer people are going to bed hungry. The idea is that if every day can be World Food Day, that means nobody will be going to bed hungry. We need to play our own part. Foodlick is playing our own part, and I hope every individual, especially private sector. A few years ago, when we talk about people going hungry, people didn't believe a lot of people are going hungry. But COVID-19 has exposed us. It has shown us that we are just one paycheck away from falling into food poverty, which COVID showed us. 2 weeks of lockdown, there were unrest everywhere. People needed food. So food is a human right. Food is a basic right. We all need food to survive. So that is some of the significance of World Food Day, a day of action, a day to bring global attention to the millions of people going to bed hungry.
Now, one quick question I would like for you to perhaps touch on. Another aspect is nourishment, and which also has to do with having that balanced diet. So if you were to look at having a healthy diet, what are we looking at?
Yes, healthy diet involves eating the right calories of food. But to be honest with you, when there's nothing for you to eat, you won't even be thinking of nourished food. You just want to get food. So when we have food, that is when you can start thinking of how many people even have enough food to eat before thinking of nourishment. We consume a lot of carbohydrates, and why is it that we all want to stay strong? We all want to that, oh, this might be the only food I have to eat today. Let me just eat enough. So people are not really talking about nourished food or eating the right calories of food.
All they want is have good food on the table. Well, we must thank you, Bola Joko Fadikpe, for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.